Chapter 21, Yang Wu's Actions. Yang Wu, Luo Feng, for the last 3 days we've stuck to the highway through the wastelands, Chen Gu said in a low voice as they walked. Most monsters live in cities, densely built-up areas, counties, urban districts. Those are the real danger zones. Understood, Brother Chen, Luo Feng replied. Yang Wu had already read about monster behavior in the posts. Monsters weren't very intelligent, but after a long war with humans, they'd learned a lot. In open, barren areas, they were easy to spot and vulnerable to long-range attacks, sniper rifles, or even missiles. In urban areas, however, buildings provided cover. If monsters hid in dense urban terrain, snipers were largely useless unless they came into the city, and street fighting favored the monsters. Dense urban zones were paradise for them. A monster's paradise? Yang Wu smiled faintly, his eyes bright. No, this is my paradise for cultivation. Our Firehammer squad is strong, Gao Feng said, inspecting Yang Wu with a practiced eye. I didn't expect you to already have the strength of a beginner-level battle general. Gao Feng's strength approached intermediate battle general. Over the past few days, he'd watched Yang Wu in action and seen his power. Then our target should be a beast general-level monster, he said. However, beast generals have more intelligence, closer to humans, Gao Feng added with a frown. We need a plan to either find a lone beast general or ambush one. Chen Gu's voice stayed low. We should be careful. Yang Wu grinned. I'll practice body art here. He sounded casual. Practicing will make noise and might draw a beast general's attention. I can stall or fight for a while. If we draw one, you handle the ambush. The body art practice was mostly an excuse. His real objective was to accelerate cultivation. If he didn't run into a beast general, he could slaughter some beast soldiers and gain experience. If a beast general showed, Luo Feng and the others would be his backup. It was efficient all around. Are you confident? Gao Feng asked, serious. Of course, Yang Wu said. Beast generals aren't easy to find. By the time one shows up, I might have raised my micro-level body art anyway. It's not as good as perfect level against crowds, but it's enough to get away. All right, but be careful, Gao Feng said. Don't stray more than a kilometer from us. We can reach you in at most a few dozen seconds. That'll work, Chen Gu said, raising his firearm. If a beast general appears, I'll give long-range support. They moved cautiously through the suburbs, avoiding encounters more than 10 times and occasionally killing a few ordinary beast soldiers instantly. Soon they reached their first destination, a residential complex called Blue Sky Community in county-level city 0201. The complex had 3 21-story residential buildings, exactly the kind of dense structure that attracted monsters. Everyone be careful, Gao Feng warned. A monster can come from anywhere inside those buildings. We're heading to the rooftop. The 6 other squad members took the stairs steadily. Yang Wu intended to cultivate within Blue Sky Community. A low beastly roar drifted through the complex, and Yang Wu moved toward the sound. He saw it then, a lion mastiff-type monster, roughly 2 meters tall and as large as a military off-road vehicle, burst from a corner. It snarled and charged, a gust of foul, bloody wind blowing in its wake. Yang Wu moved faster. He slipped past it, and as he brushed by the creature, the Blood Shadow battle blade, arced into a crescent, sliced across its neck. Killed an intermediate beast soldier, dropped 2 days of black iron level cultivation. Killed a high-level beast soldier, dropped 4 days of black iron level cultivation. Time passed. Yang Wu accumulated cultivation inside Blue Sky Community, while Luo Feng and the others scanned for beast generals from the rooftop with binoculars. Everyone brought binoculars, right? Captain Gao Feng asked. Get them out and look down from the roof edge. See if you can spot any beast general-level monsters. The rooftop was safe. Ordinary monsters generally couldn't climb to the top of a 21-story building from the outside, and even if a beast general ordered others up the stairs, the stairwells were narrow. The squad would have time to escape. They fanned out along the edge and began scanning. Luo Feng pulled his binoculars from his backpack. Everyone carried light auxiliaries. Binoculars, steel wire, they didn't weigh much. From up high, they could see far. From a rooftop that tall, the density of monsters on the streets below was obvious. This was the fastest and safest way to locate beast generals in the city, far quicker than searching street level. They scanned meticulously. Chen Gu, with his heavy sniper rifle, narrowed his eyes and watched through the scope. The number of monsters in urban areas is indeed tens or even hundreds of times greater than in the wasteland, Luo Feng said grimly. One street had at least several hundred monsters moving along it. Even a battle general-level fighter would struggle to escape if surrounded by that many. No beast generals on my side, one of the men reported. They're all beast soldier level. Yang Wu's efficiency is impressive. He's already taken out several in a short time, another said. Haha, looks like we'll just watch him practice body art from up here. They said they were watching Yang Wu kill beast soldiers, but in truth, they were watching for hidden dangers around him so they could warn him. Their binoculars swept the streets, alert for any sign of a beast general descending into Blue Sky Community. Chapter 22, Weird Emergency Mission. Yang Wu had been frantically piling up cultivation while Luo Feng and the others hunted for beast generals. 30 li outside County City 0201, on a cracked, overgrown highway, the Tiger Fang squad was also pushing hard toward the city. Their target was an injured high-level beast general known as the Hunter. In the original timeline, their encounter with Luo Feng's group had been purely accidental. Ordinary beast soldiers only yielded a few days' worth of cultivation each, but those days added up. Just that morning, Yang Wu had slain more than 100 beast soldiers and accumulated over 300 days of cultivation. He'd stopped only because hours of fighting had drained his stamina and gene power, and because they had bumped into a beast general and needed to regroup. Sparks flew from the scales along the bloodthirsty tank's neck, where its ears met its head as Chen Gu's bullet punched through. One shot, one kill. From a rooftop perch, Chen Gu lifted his head and eased his eye off the scope. Lucky shot. I hit a vital spot. This bloodthirsty tank's vitality is strong. Won't die instantly, but it'll be dead inside 5 minutes, he said. The monster horde still surrounded the fallen bloodthirsty tank. Don't puff yourself up. Tell Yang Wu to gather the team, Chen Gu said with a grin. Figure out how to get the corpse. There are hundreds of monsters around it. And if we're slow, another squad could snatch it, someone warned. Don't jinx us, Gao Feng replied with a faint smile. In this county city, there are probably only 2 or 3 warrior squads at most. All right, pack up. We're moving down to get the corpse. At Gao Feng's order, Luo Feng and 5 others left the Blue Sky Community and hurried down the stairs. 5 minutes later, Yang Wu and the group were crouched in a narrow alley. Wei Ti, leading, peered out through a gap. Captain, there are a few hundred monsters swarming the bloodthirsty tank's body. That's going to make retrieval messy, Wei Qing muttered. Long-range kills on a beast general were one thing. Getting the corpse and its materials was another, a risky, blood-drenched job. The usual plan, Gao Feng said. Wei Tie, Wei Qing, you two disrupt the horde. When it's chaotic, we rush in. Yang Wu, you're strong. Cover me. I'll dissect the corpse. Charge, Gao Feng barked. Yang Wu moved like lightning, shield in one hand and his blood shadow battle blade in the other. He cleaved through beast soldiers, each swing yielding tangles of gene energy and cultivation gains. Killed an intermediate beast soldier, black iron level cultivation, 2 days. Killed a high-level beast soldier, black iron level cultivation, 4 days. In the crush, he was a wolf among sheep, and his cultivation numbers climbed. Gao Feng sprinted straight to the beast, dagger flashing, and began extracting materials from the bloodthirsty tank. The rest of the Firehammer squad fought to hold the perimeter. Luo Feng, cover old Chen, Zhang Ke shouted, spear braced. That half-minute became all about survival and protecting the man dissecting the corpse. Yang Wu cut down any beast soldier that tried to break through. Tempting cultivation dangled before him, but he dared not be careless. The initial horde numbered in the hundreds. As the team fought, more monsters poured in, surrounding them. Smoke from other skirmishes blurred vision and blunted the horde's coordination, buying the squad precious seconds. The pressure mounted as the surrounding numbers swelled. After what felt like an eternity, Gao Feng snarled, "Move!" He secured the last of the materials, and the Firehammer squad bolted. Yang Wu had killed dozens in that push alone and gained more than 100 days of cultivation. He longed even more for a perfect level movement technique, which would let him slip through hordes as if they weren't there. The squad ran fast and eventually outran the monster's simple intelligence. Half an hour later, they slipped onto the 18th floor rooftop of the Haihao Grand Hotel, breathless but grinning. "Great work today," Captain Gaofeng said, pleased. "I didn't expect such a haul on day one. Strong start. Rest up now. We'll move again at 4. They rested, recharged, and kept farming. Yang Wu and the others encountered several more beast generals over the following hours. Sometimes they failed, sometimes they triumphed. Laughter and the clatter of triumph filled the Firehammer squad after another successful dissection. Then the message popped up. "You have triggered an emergency mission. Escape with your life." Mission brief. Due to Luo Feng, the Tiger Fang squad has decided to seek revenge. Run, or do whatever it takes. After the mission ends, you will be rewarded based on your performance. Yang Wu's mouth twitched. Rewards aside, this emergency mission was useful. His golden finger had already hinted that the Tiger Fang squad was plotting against them. That foreknowledge meant he could avoid, or at least mitigate some dangers if similar missions were triggered later. Danger! Stay alert! Yang Wu warned and scanned the surroundings instantly. On a ridge not far off, the Tiger Fang squad's plan unfolded. "The prey the Firehammer squad took down looks like a beast general," the Tiger Fang captain ordered. "Axiao, Adong, take out those 2 fresh kids from the Firehammer squad with your sniper rifles." Axiao and Adong didn't hesitate. They had lived by killing in desperate situations. Murder, theft, and monster hunting had numbed them to hesitation. 2 sniper rifles were set up smoothly, angles dialed in, breath held. A single nod passed between the marksman and their captain. Then they fired in perfect unison. Bang, bang. Bullets ripped through the air, invisible and deadly, moving many times faster than sound. The Firehammer squad members, who were still dissecting the 2-tailed tiger cat's corpse, hadn't even heard the shots before the rounds were on them. Fortunately, Yang Wu had already warned the team. Everyone's senses were razor sharp. Chapter 23, Silver Moon Wolf, Sniper Rifle Bullets. Gaofeng's eyes went bloodshot as he roared. "We're under attack." "Where from?" Wei Ti and Wei Qing yelled. Many martial artists regularly run neural reaction drills. With their honed reflexes, they almost instinctively understood the situation. The 2 blurring streaks cutting through the air ahead were sniper rounds. Firearms barely threatened warlord-level fighters. Yang Wu's basic speed was already past 90 miles per second, but if someone couldn't react in time, they were still deadly. Yang Wu had received intel from his insiders and could dodge the shots easily. Luo Feng, having mastered the 9 heavy Thunderblade, could evade them too. Everyone in the Firehammer squad snapped into motion. No one dared stand still while a sniper aimed at them. Bang! 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 4 shots rang out in quick succession. Yang Wu, Luo Feng, and the others fixed their gaze toward the sound. Figures flashed on a distant rooftop and then vanished. "It's the Tiger Fang squad." Luo Feng ground his teeth. "Zhang Zehu actually wants to kill me?" Anger surged through Luo Feng. He had checked Zhang Zehu's background and knew he belonged to the Tiger Fang squad. Gao Feng's face went white. "Not good. Run!" The Tiger Fang squad had fired 6 rounds in all. 2 were meant for Luo Feng and Yang Wu. The other 4 had been aimed at the surrounding monster horde. The Firehammer squad realized why those extra shots had been fired. "How despicable," someone muttered. "They're trying to wipe us out." "Run!" A thunderous rumble came from ahead. Dozens of massive iron-haired boars stampeded down the street, each one enormous. Hundreds thundered together like an earthquake. The Firehammer squad veered, only to be hit by another violent tremor from behind. An even larger wave of beasts was closing in, one-horned wild boars and large lion-mastiff predators among them. With monsters both ahead and behind, the pack easily exceeded 1,000. Big trouble. Faces drained of color. "This is life or death. Scatter. Run for your lives. If one of us survives, it's one. If we stay together, we'll all die." Gao Feng barked. Rage flared between his words. "That damn Tiger Fang squad. If I don't die this time, I'll make them pay with blood." Faced with an encirclement of over 1,000 animals, even Yang Wu ran. Now was not the time to show off and risk everything. One had to act within one's limits. He trusted Luo Feng would save the group in the end. They raced up the stairwell of a 6-story building and onto the rooftop. As in the original account, Luo Feng's intervention would later be the reason they survived. Emergency mission completed. You escaped with your own strength. Mission is being settled. Settlement complete. Performance evaluation. Mission reward. Black iron level cultivation plus 100 days. Yang Wu's mouth twitched. Just fleeing had earned him more than 100 days cultivation. He felt no shame. Take a mission when you can. Drop it when you can't. Sometimes the only sensible choice is to play it safe. Still, a 100-day consolation prize was welcome. The stairwell door clicked shut behind them. Gao Feng's anger smoldered. Tiger Fang squad, you'll pay! Those scoundrels tried to wipe out the whole Firehammer squad, Chen Gu spat. That grudge must be paid back. Wei Ti growled in agreement. Gao Feng clenched his fists. Luo Feng knew that when he had controlled the flying knife to save everyone, he had also revealed his secret, that he was a psyker master. Chen Gu laughed, pleased. Luo Feng, I didn't misjudge you. If the Tiger Fang squad had known Luo Feng was a psyker master and Yang Wu was a warlord, they wouldn't have dared play dirty, Gao Feng said with a slight smile. If they knew they'd offended a psyker master and the talented warlord Yang Wu, they'd regret it to death. Wei Tai chuckled. We were lucky this time, Gao Feng added, then glanced at Yang Wu and Luo Feng. By the way, why hide your talents? With their abilities, every faction, the government army, martial arts schools, powerful families, would try to recruit them. Yang Wu spoke up. Captain, please keep this secret. Don't make it public. He was realistic. A 23-year-old warlord wasn't unheard of. The talent he showed now, while impressive, wasn't guaranteed to get him into the God of War training camp. He preferred to cultivate freely for now. With his golden finger, whether he entered the camp would not be decisive. Still, he wouldn't refuse if the chance came. Me too, Luo Feng said. He had his reasons as well. Gao Feng laughed. Of course we won't make it public. Martial squads like us prefer having an ace up our sleeve. An ace only counts while it's hidden. Once exposed, it loses its edge. If Yang Wu and Luo Feng's gifts were made public, other camps would compete to recruit them, and the Firehammer squad would lose 2 geniuses. Chen Gu nodded eagerly. If anyone dares provoke us now, they'll pay dearly. It'll help with monster hunts too. They rested, the sky deepening into a starry night. Suddenly, a long, angry wolf howl tore through the quiet. "Awoo!" And the squad members jolted awake. A wolf, Gao Feng said, serious. A wolf-type monster. Chen Gu drew a sharp breath. Wolf types were notoriously hard to deal with. The hunter. Silver Moon demonic wolf? Yang Wu raised an eyebrow, grabbed his binoculars, and crawled to the edge of the rooftop. He tracked the howl with a night vision, high-magnification scope, and found it quickly. A giant wolf, 3 meters tall and 5 to 6 meters long. Its coat was slate gray, with only a faint patch of white on its forehead. 5 or 6 meters tall. What did that even mean? It was about the size of a small house, and standing in front of it made a person feel dwarfed and insignificant. Not all high-level beast generals were the same. A psyker master and an ordinary martial artist of the same rank were hardly equals. Everyone in Firehammer Squad felt that gulf of power press on them, a cold fear welling up from deep inside. A cold, mechanical voice announced, "You have triggered a challenge mission, Silver Moon Demonic Wolf." Mission Introduction. The Silver Moon Demonic Wolf is a high-level beast general. In its prime, it could take on a god of war. Are you sure you want to fight it while it's injured? Mission Requirement. Try to hold on for as long as possible against the Silver Moon Demonic Wolf. Comparing strengths. Comparison complete. You are far from being a match for the Silver Moon Demonic Wolf. Mission rewards are being generated. Reward. This mission's rewards are tiered. For each requirement met, you will receive a corresponding reward. Hold on for 10 seconds. 20 days of black iron level cultivation. Hold on for 30 seconds. 100 days of black iron level cultivation. Hold on for 2 minutes. 600 days of black iron level cultivation. Hold on for 3 minutes. 1,000 days of black iron level cultivation. Hold on for 5 minutes. 2,000 days of black iron level cultivation. Hold on for 10 minutes. 5,000 days of black iron level cultivation, and a random talent of the Silver Moon Demonic Wolf will be generated. Yang Wu ground his teeth. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I accept. The rewards were simply too tempting to refuse, and he wouldn't be alone. If his memory of the original story was right, the Silver Moon demonic wolf had been killed by Luo Feng, so maybe he'd only need to play a supporting role. Gao Feng sucked in a breath at the sight of the beast. "That's a Silver Moon demonic wolf," he said. "A high-level beast general, and it's a royalty wolf. Its belly is badly injured. Severely injured high-level beast generals were rare enough. Finding a wounded wolf-type royalty like the Silver Moon demonic wolf was like winning the lottery. An uninjured Silver Moon demonic wolf would be a nightmare for even a human war general. Even injured, it's beyond us," Gao Feng warned. "Our full-force attack might not even pierce its fur." "That fur alone is worth a fortune," someone else pointed out. "Its skull is incredibly hard. Even one Silver Moon demonic wolf is worth more than 10 Tiger Mastiff dog monsters. If we get it, we'd make a huge profit." "Captain, it's moving fast. It'll leave our sight soon. We can't hesitate." Voices around the rooftop pressed for action. Gao Feng shook his head. "Wake up. Don't let money blind you. It's still not something we can handle." "Captain, I'll try," Luo Feng said. When Luo Feng spoke, Yang Wu breathed easier. If he had to go up alone, he'd be a likely meal, but with Luo Feng there was a real chance to restrain the wolf, and a chance at those rewards. "Yang Wu, Luo Feng." Gao Feng hesitated. "Are you confident? Killing it? I can't be sure. I've never killed one, but I'm 100% confident I can escape," Luo Feng replied with a faint smile. As a psyker master, he could use psychic energy to manipulate inanimate objects. He could channel it into his alloy combat boots to launch himself astonishingly high, plant his shield under his feet to stand on, and then control the shield in flight with psychic energy. In effect, he could fly by stepping on his shield. "All right," Gao Feng said. "Be careful. If you can get it, but don't force it. Safety first." "Don't worry," Yang Wu and Luo Feng answered. They took their shields and blood shadow battle blades and leapt off the 6-story residential roof. From that height, they fell fast, but the bodies of experienced fighters could take the impact. Yang Wu, himself already a war general, landed without trouble on the street below. Luo Feng sprinted forward like a streak of black lightning. Yang Wu right behind him with a machine gun slung at his side. Yang Wu had never used the machine gun in earnest. He didn't intend to rely on it to kill a Silver Moon demonic wolf, but he knew the basics. His real goal was simple: stick close to City Lord Luo and find ways to claim more mission rewards. On the rooftop, the rest of Firehammer Squad watched through binoculars. "Captain, do you think they can kill it?" Chen Gu asked, smiling. "It's hard to say," Gao Feng replied. "They're both weaker than a high-level beast general. There's no hope if it were at full strength. But it's a wolf-type royalty, and it's badly injured, so they have a chance. They still have a chance." Eyes glued to the street, they watched Luo Feng close the distance. The Silver Moon demonic wolf was moving fast. Yang Wu and Luo Feng tried a diagonal shortcut to intercept, but the wolf was still about a mile away. They pushed on, closing the gap. 2 Tiger Mastiff dog monsters lounging nearby rose and growled when they caught sight of the humans. The beasts charged, thudding the ground as they ran. Yang Wu killed them casually as he ran, converting their remains into cultivation with barely a thought. The 2 monsters collapsed mid-sprint, the earth trembling beneath them. Yang Wu and Luo Feng slipped into a narrow alley and saw the Silver Moon demonic wolf at the far end, a little over 100 meters away. The wolf stopped and stared at them. It was unmistakable, a Silver Moon demonic wolf, badly wounded in the abdomen. Luo Feng's eyes lit up, and a smile spread across his face. Chapter 25, Shameless Cheating and Micromanagement. Yang Wu and the Silver Moon demonic wolf stood motionless. The nearly 3-meter-tall beast's eyes flashed a faint, bloody light. "Let me see what my current peak strength is," Luo Feng said, stepping toward the wolf. 2 flying blades rose from his trouser legs and became streaks of light. In an instant, the wolf's fur was suffused with a strange energy, shifting from gray to silvery white. Its whole body gleamed, and the tuft of white fur on its forehead turned blood red. The challenge timer began. With a whoosh, the Silver Moon demonic wolf became a silver streak and shot straight at Luo Feng, ignoring Yang Wu. From the nerve reaction tests he'd done so often in the martial arts hall, Yang Wu could tell without hesitation that the wolf's speed was nearly supersonic. He was secretly relieved the wolf ignored him. At that speed, he couldn't hope to keep up. With that speed, Luo Feng, you handle it. I won't get in your way, Yang Wu said, stepping back slightly but staying inside the wolf's aggro range so the timer would keep running. He wasn't about to throw his life away. All right. Luo Feng nodded and went all out at the wolf. Yang Wu knew as a martial artist he couldn't contribute much, and, given the money-splitting rules, staying out of the fight might even earn him a larger share. 2 minutes later, there was a thunderous crash. The Silver Moon demonic wolf's massive corpse slammed down, bringing part of a crumbling wall with it. Luo Feng landed nearby. A high-level beast general had tenacity. Even after being struck in a vital spot by Luo Feng, it had kept fighting for a minute before finally dying. Challenge mission completed. You have met the first 4 mission requirements. Mission is being settled. Settlement complete. Black Iron level cultivation, plunge 720 days. You did nothing in the challenge mission, but met the first 4 mission requirements, triggering the achievement, Shameless Cheating. Additional reward, Black Iron level cultivation, plus 680 days, 400%. Yang Wu's mouth twitched when he read the log. Shameless cheating? But the reward was generous, and he dropped any complaints. He'd long wanted to comprehend micro-level body art, and this windfall could make it possible. With his Black Iron level 3 talent and the 9 heavy Hunyuan, first level, Yang Wu estimated he'd need about 4,000 days of cultivation to go from where he was to the strength of a beast general. Micro-level body art was tougher than the average beast general's understanding. It demanded serious time. Still, with these rewards, he could afford it. 1720 plus 66680 totaled 8,400 days, an unprecedented windfall. This should be enough to reach micro-level body art, he decided with a smile. The 9 heavy Thunderblade had a related body art called Flowing Light, divided into 3 levels. The first level, when fully learned, attained micro-level control. It consisted of 18 stances that gradually guided a cultivator into micro-level perception. All right, test it with 4,000 days first, Yang Wu thought, and 4,000 days of his Black Iron cultivation drained away. Inside the panel's cultivation space, time accelerated. He practiced like a swallow on the wall, light, precise, shifting and slipping. He kept his aura contained so outwardly it appeared as if nothing had happened. Inside, his training transformed him. Insights poured in. 4,000 days passed in a breath. Yang Wu felt a depth of change, as if he'd stepped into another world. He'd completed the first 10 stances. 400 days per stance, so I still need 3,200 days to master the whole first level, he calculated. Without hesitation, he spent the remaining 3,200 days. More scenes sped by. The 18 stances braided together until an extreme, unified sensation took hold. He opened his eyes and moved almost reflexively. His body strength fused with razor precision. Micro-level mastery meant extraordinarily fine control, the smallest motions achieving the most precise evasions. Movements were economical but effective. Attacks from monsters could graze at the edge without landing true blows. Because each movement's amplitude was tiny, he could execute many more evasions in the same span of time. Micro-level body art was complete. Yang Wu grinned. My cultivation farming efficiency is going to jump. I can probably rack up over 1,000 cultivation days a day now. Before this, confronted by dozens of beast soldiers, he'd have fled. Now he could face dozens, dispatching them one by one. If the numbers got too large, micro-level alone wouldn't suffice. He'd need perfect-level body movement for that, which would likely take tens of thousands of days. That was far beyond his short-term plans. For now, he would focus on the 9 heavy Thunderblade and Gene Power. Both would boost his strength and let him take on more monsters, another way to speed up cultivation farming. He also had a chain mission that required him to comprehend Thunderblade, second level at least. Completing it would yield a cultivation rebate. So those 2 paths were more cost-effective than chasing perfect-level body movement for now. First, try 9 heavy Thunderblade for 1,000 days, he decided. He poured 1,000 days into practicing 9 heavy Thunderblade, second level. He swung the blade until his movements reached an extreme speed. Tens of millions of repetitions flowed by. After the 1,000 days of accelerated practice, his insights had coalesced. But when he tested himself, he he could only perform 5 moves reliably. 9 Heavy Thunderblade, first level, 5 moves achieved, consumed 1,000 days of Black Iron level cultivation. So I still need another 2,600 days to really master Thunderblade, second level, Yang Wu muttered. He glanced at his remaining cultivation days. After spending 7,200 on micro level and 1,000 on blade practice, he had just 200 days left. Obviously, that wasn't nearly enough. Chapter 26, Single Dry Brush Repair. While Yang Wu spent his time quietly cultivating, Luo Feng had already begun dissecting the Silver Moon demonic wolf for valuable components. He moved with practiced efficiency, removing and packing every high-value part into his backpack. All done, Luo Feng said with a long sigh of relief. No matter what, this was a huge haul. Yang Wu smiled faintly. The Firehammer Squad divided earnings according to each member's contribution in battle. No matter how strong someone was, if they hadn't helped take down a particular monster, the squad wouldn't share the rewards with them. Since Yang Wu had taken the Silver Moon demonic wolf by himself, he would be owed a hefty sum. But money mattered little to him compared with cultivation. More importantly, the mission he'd completed was worth the equivalent of some 8,600 days of Black Iron level cultivation, a gain that few piles of cash could match. After the dissection was finished, Yang Wu and Luo Feng left quickly. Half an hour later, they reached the rooftop of the 18-story Haihao Hotel, where the rest of the squad had gathered. "Ha, well done, everyone," Captain Gao Feng said with a laugh. But that wolf was already badly wounded. It must have fought human warriors before. And it might have some kind of signal on its fur, someone added. If the team that wounded it tracks us down, we'll be in trouble. A warrior squad that could badly wound a Silver Moon demonic wolf is not something we want to provoke, Luo Feng agreed, looking unsettled. Snatching a wounded monster from another group could lead to serious consequences if they were tracked. "This haul is good enough," Gao Feng said, smiling faintly. "We shouldn't linger in the wilderness area, rest here tonight, and at dawn we head back to the supply base." "I'm not going back so soon," Yang Wu said with a laugh. "I'll keep training, working on my movement technique." Gao Feng's brow wrinkled. "Then how will we split the money with you?" "Our rules still apply. You follow the distribution rules. Everyone knows my account." Yang Wu nodded. "Fine." Gao Feng cleared his throat and adopted a more serious tone. "Even though you're a warlord-level warrior, the wilderness area is dangerous. Be careful. And as captain, I should say, right now we already have 3 warlord-level fighters, but Yang Wu and Luo Feng are improving way too fast. I don't think we can hold you two back for long." The others' expressions shifted. Wei Ti, Wei Qing, and the rest were advanced warrior level. They felt the gap. "Captain, I'm new too," Luo Feng protested. "That's not what I mean," Gao Feng said with a smile, then looked to Wei Ti and the others. "Don't think I'm abandoning you. Think bigger." They all listened as the captain outlined his idea. "From now on, our target for hunting and training needs to be higher. The goal of the Firehammer Squad is to have every member reach warlord level." Wei Tai swallowed. "My brother and I are still a long way from that." "I know." Gao Feng's smile was confident. "Here's my plan. Wei Ti, Wei Qing, Zhang Ke, Chen Gu, each of you buy a dose of A-grade genetic fluid. That will boost your physical constitution, so Wei Ti and Wei Qing can enter the beginner warlord level. Chen Gu's strength and speed will jump close to warlord level as well." Yang Wu already knew the mainstream genetic fluids came in 2 grades. B grade could turn ordinary people into warriors, but their post-boost strengths were usually mediocre. A grade was for existing warriors and could roughly double their capabilities, though the stronger you already were, the smaller the marginal benefit. Yang Wu preferred other treasures like dragon blood, herbal spirit, and Muya crystal for their wider uses and far fewer side effects, but he kept quiet. The team discussed the proposal and quickly agreed. Gao Feng explained the timeline. The A-grade fluid takes about a month to stabilize in the body, and then another 2 months of training are needed to adapt to the increased power. Essentially, anyone taking the fluid would be out of active wilderness duty for about 3 months. The squad knew that if they moved faster, they could hunt stronger monsters and earn more, so falling behind could mean being left behind. "All right, settled," Gao Feng said. "We head back now." Yangwu, take care. Once they left, Yangwu inhaled deeply on the rooftop. Most of the Firehammer squad would be resting or undergoing their genetic fluid regimen, so it was a good time for him to press his own improvements. Chen Gu, Zhang Ke, and the Wei brothers would be out for 3 months. That meant Yang Wu and Luo Feng wouldn't be operating together during that period. The continuous mission reward they could do now would probably give only about 2,000 days of black iron level cultivation. Worthwhile, but not urgent. Yang Wu decided to focus on solo gains. He scanned the area for Beast General level monsters. Beast Generals are hard to miss. They're huge and typically surrounded by swarms of subordinates. Finding none, he turned his attention to Beast Soldiers. From his perch on the rooftop's edge, Yang Wu watched the streets below thronging with monsters. Everything in the vicinity looked to be Beast Soldier level. "There's a pack of hundreds of Beast Soldiers down there," he muttered. "Not something I can take on all at once with my current strength." He crouched, plotting his next move. Chapter 27, 9 Heavy Thunderblade, 2nd level. After all, he was different from Luo Feng. He wasn't a Psyker Master, and without reaching the planetary level, he couldn't fly at all. "Those monsters over there will do," Yang Wu thought. "They're spread out, and the largest Beast General group only numbers a few dozen. Even if Beast Soldiers are drawn by the noise, I can still break out. I'll farm there today, but keep the commotion to a minimum." He set off. When Yang Wu stepped off the stairs, the concrete cracked under his foot as if a cannonball had launched him toward the street. He didn't draw the Blood Shadow Battle Blade, he simply strode forward. He walked into a dilapidated residential community. In this deserted neighborhood, many monsters lurked. On the 3rd floor of a building ahead, a silhouette loomed. The slaughter had begun. Yang Wu's goal had always been clear. Since he had entered the bizarre, devouring the heavens world, he wanted to become a peak-tier fighter, someone who could stand among the best, just like Luo Feng. Complacency wasn't an option, so he pushed himself to maximize his strength. Time passed. Yang Wu had been hiding in County Town 0201 for a long time, and the Beast Soldiers there had paid dearly. Unlike other God of War martial artists who only targeted Beast Generals, Yang Wu killed every lone Beast Soldier he encountered. On the first day, he accumulated over 1,000 days' worth of black iron level cultivation experience, but it still wasn't enough to comprehend the 9 Heavy Thunderblade, 2nd level. When Luo Feng had trained the technique, he had only managed to kill a couple hundred soldiers a day. Yang Wu could dispatch over 300 because he was stronger and more ferocious. On the 2nd day, as dusk settled, after adding another 1,000 days of cultivation to his reserves, Yang Wu found a safe place to rest and cultivate. 2,600 days of cultivation, 9 Heavy Thunderblade, 2nd level, he thought, and 2,600 days of cultivation vanished from his stockpile. Scenes flashed through his mind, swinging the Blood Shadow Battle Blade tens of millions of times until there was no trace of effort, until the motion reached absolute speed. For 2,600 days, he had practiced the 9 Heavy Thunderblade at the 2nd level. The 18 blade techniques wove together and became one. The 2nd level Thunderblade was finally mastered. Yang Wu's Blood Shadow Battle Blade moved as if by reflex. All his strength erupted to the limit, a wave of force thundering from his legs up through his waist and hips. Crack, crack, crack. Section by section, his spine straightened. Raw fist force surged into his right arm. Simultaneously, hidden forces behind his waist and hips rolled up his back like ripples. Force linkage. The 9 Heavy Thunderblade, 2nd level, officially detonated, a 2.1 times power burst. Pfft. 2 consecutive torrents of force flowed into his arm, and the Blood Shadow Battle Blade became a streak of cold light across the sky. Yang Wu smiled. He could now trigger 2 additional hidden forces, a 2.1 times burst. Put simply, he could now put out power beyond his nominal level and contend with ordinary intermediate God of War fighters. Masters who reach the 9 Heavy Thunderblade's 2nd level can indeed fight above their level, he thought. But power without speed was a problem. If the blade's strike was powerful but slow, a high-level fighter could simply outpace him. The secret was to make both strength and speed rise together. The 9 Heavy Thunderblade allows burst power into the arms, Why not the legs as well? If he could send hidden force into his leg power and speed would increase, and only then could he truly fight beyond his level. Yang Wu's eyes brightened as the idea hit him. He had overlooked the simplest principle. Precise control of hidden force meant it could be applied anywhere, not just to the arms. A fist that could unleash astonishing power implied legs could do the same. He had been so focused on blade techniques and footwork that he never considered transferring the technique's burst method to his lower limbs. The manual had explained how to apply power bursts to the Blood Shadow Battle Blade, but it hadn't mentioned using the same method for running and kicking. I can transmit hidden force to my legs too, he said with a wry smile. If my arm burst is 2.1 times, my legs can reach the same. Even accounting for resistance, speed should increase significantly, at least by half. For true masters, speed often matters more than raw strength. If you can move much faster than your opponent, you can toy with them. The heart of the 9-heavy Thunderblade, he realized, was simple: speed. Fast is the unbreakable advantage. When you push speed to its limit, you become nearly invincible. He only had a few dozen days of cultivation left now. This was a change in application, not a change in level. Luo Feng had adapted quickly before, so Yang Wu figured he could master it within a few dozen days. He began experimenting immediately, first applying the second-level burst method to his legs while practicing the first-level motions. Pft, pft. His right foot blurred into afterimages as he kicked repeatedly into the air. Feels different, he muttered. Unleash the force. That's it. With his current second-level mastery, 3 days of focused practice let him push his leg burst to about 1.4 times. 10 more days of relentless training brought the leg burst up to 2.1 times as well. After all, when he used the Blood Shadow Battle Blade technique, he could now sustain a 2.1 times burst continuously. When cultivation ended, Yang Wu opened his eyes and began sprinting back and forth, darting left and right in the cramped room. In combat, the body changes direction constantly. Repeatedly triggering a 2.1 times burst in an instant is far harder than doing it once. With the new burst method integrated, Yang Wu considered the road ahead. Cultivation demands would only grow. If the second level had required such massive investment, the third level would be worse, possibly double the previous amount. His talent and cultivation were already stretched thin. Higher levels would demand far greater gifts and far more time. I don't know when I'll be able to improve my talent again, he admitted, shaking his head slightly. Chapter 28. Rumors about Yang Wu, 1 day of cultivation gene power. Yang Wu thought, feeling it sweep through him. Whoosh, whoosh. He sat cross-legged, 5 centers raised to the sky, a smile of pure joy on his face. Every cell in his body seemed ravenous, greedily devouring the surrounding gene power. When I mastered the first stage of the 9-heavy Thunderblade, my cultivation speed nearly doubled, he mused. And now, after mastering the second stage, my cells are even hungrier. They can absorb more gene power. Time ticked by. After a while, each cell let out a satisfied little burp. He had reached saturation and could absorb no more. At the first stage, my speed doubled, just like Luo Feng in the original story, he thought. At the second stage, the increase isn't as great, but it still went up by a third, also like Luo Feng. So even if our innate talents differ, the 9-heavy Thunderblade gives the same boost to cultivation speed. He also noticed something else. Although his innate talent hadn't changed, the amount of gene power he could pull in per day was higher than when he'd been at the first stage. In other words, his conversion of cultivation time into strength had become more efficient. The 9-heavy Thunderblade was miraculous. Combined with the guiding technique, it accelerated his progress tremendously. If he used his time now to raise purely physical conditioning, it might be wasteful, because the blade's guiding technique seemed to favor training with the blade itself. So he decided to focus on advancing the 9-heavy Thunderblade first and postpone physical conditioning until later. Or better, wait until his talent manifested more clearly, then try everything to get into the God of War training camp. Once inside, with his talent, he would almost certainly be awarded Dragon Blood, an enormous shortcut in cultivation. Then let's keep going. Yang Wu's eyes flashed. He looked at the beast soldier downstairs and sprang up. I'll grind until I have enough cultivation for the third stage of the 9 heavy Thunderblade. While Yang Wu continued to accumulate cultivation, the other members of the Firehammer squad slipped out of County 0201 the next day and traveled the crumbling highway back to the supply base city. 3 days later, they arrived and began processing the materials they'd retrieved. The Silver Moon demonic wolf parts were too valuable to sell on the road. They waited until they were back in the city. After the sale, several million credits were wired into Yang Wu's account. Yangzhou, Limit Hall, first floor bar. Wutong sat in a corner nursing a glass of a golden, high-purity blended spirit while pleasant music played. Martial artists from Mingyue community filled the place, laughing and talking loudly as they relaxed. Have you heard? Yang Wu became a war general after only a month of cultivation. Mingyue community had only 3 war god level martial artists before. Naturally, the news that Yang Wu had reached the war general rank made the rounds. What? How is that possible? He's only 23, right? At that age, most late starters don't have much talent. How could he reach war general in a month? Wu Tong, who knew Yang Wu well. Yang Wu had often taken the quasi-martial artist assessments and had usually failed the speed tests, listened with mounting disbelief. He'd heard the rumor that Yang Wu had mastered Jin power on the very first day and that his striking power had jumped by nearly 2,000 kilograms. That was astonishing, but not impossible. But to rise to war general in 1 month, it sounded absurd. Then, from the next table, a conversation carried clear enough to prick his ears. So you've heard too. I know Yang Wu. Jiang Nian told me about him. Jiang Nian said he was a late bloomer at first, so I thought he was joking. I didn't expect it's true. He really is a late bloomer. Maybe it's just a rumor. He used to be in the Firehammer squad. Their captain, Gao Feng, is nearly an intermediate war general. His word carries weight. I also heard he learned the 9 heavy Thunderblade in just 1 month. That last claim snapped something in Wu Tong. His heart racing, his hand crushed the cup on the table. Glass broke and wine splashed, but he barely noticed. His face went white with shock. He slammed his hand on the table, stood up, and strode out of the bar. Everyone stared, but he didn't look back. He had already decided what to do. Wu Tong had long known Yang Wu was talented. He'd been recruited early by the Limit Hall. Yang Wu's physical conditioning, reaching the initial war general level in a month, might have been exaggerated, but not impossible. A few had grown to God of War level in a month with the right treasures. Still, mastering the first stage of the 9 heavy Thunderblade in under a month was another matter. That was terrifying, unnatural. In the whole world, there might only be 1 or 2 freaks like that each year. This had to be reported to Supervisor Zhu Tao, Jiangnan Base City, Limit Hall. Zhu Tao sat in the training room in a black training suit, cross-legged as heat seeped through the window. He opened his eyes. "Activate," he said. The wall camera projected a screen with crisp light. Wu Tong's voice on the feed was breathless and urgent as he relayed the rumors about Yang Wu. Zhu Tao's face shifted from surprise to satisfaction as he listened. He had already made an early investment in Yang Wu. This news seemed to confirm his judgment. If Yang Wu continued on this path, he might become at least a god of war, possibly even beyond war god in time. After Zhu Tao hung up, he immediately reported the matter to global headquarters. 2 days later, the reply came back. They had no direct evidence, only hearsay. Without proof, headquarters was not inclined to act. Chapter 29, Triple Thunder Knife. The airport serving Jiangnan Base City's central district was a name many locals barely recognized anymore. Since the Grand Nirvana, flying beasts had become so numerous and dangerous that the demand for airborne passenger ships had exploded. The cost of a single passenger vessel had soared to levels more ridiculous than an aircraft carrier before the Grand Nirvana. These craft were no longer for the common people. Even when passenger flights still ran, a single ticket was an astronomical sum. Few but the wealthiest could even consider buying one. In the airport's waiting area, many martial artists gathered. The Limit Hall chief and his 3 subordinates, the 4 giants of the Limit Hall in Jiangnan Base City, were among them. A phantom-like craft appeared in the sky above the airport with a soft whoosh, decelerated, slipped through the city's defenses, and began its slow descent. They've arrived from headquarters, Zhu Tao said with a smile, eyes on the sky. The craft was enormous, a dark blue disk some 30 to 40 meters across, its surface shimmering with a deep blue sheen. The cabin door opened, and a stairway extended. The four limit hall giants moved to stand at its base. Only a dozen or so people of real status could wait by such a ship. The passengers who began to descend were every one of them important. There were very few of these airborne passenger ships in the world. Their outer hulls were made from materials on par with 9 Series combat suits and 9 Series weapons, thin but capable of withstanding strikes from high-level Lord-class flying beasts. They were also fitted with expensive airborne laser cannons that could vaporize king-level monsters. All of that ensured safety and drove the price into the stratosphere. Most who could afford to travel by such ships were war god level or above. Old Yang, the limit hall chief, called with a grin as the passengers descended. A middle-aged man in a gray robe approached with a smile. Iron Hand, long time no see. The man known as Iron Hand, Zhou Zhengyong, smiled back. Old Yang, headquarters sent you to verify Yang Wu's situation, right? A 23-year-old primary war general is remarkable, and he wields the 9 Heavy Thunderblade, first level. If he passes the assessment, he could enter basic training camp, War God Yang Hui said. Then he laughed. Let's find somewhere to catch up. Nearly 8 years since we last met, isn't it? Mr. Yang. Zhu Jitao and the other 3 supervisors greeted him respectfully. War God Yang Hui looked barely in his 30s, but he was actually in his 50s and an intermediate war god. He usually stayed at the Limit Hall Global Headquarters, and his authority matched Iron Hand's. It has been 8 years, Yang Hui said. We'll have tea, then lunch. Zhuge, is your elder brother in the base city? Bring him along. I'll call him now, Zhu Jitao replied. Is the inspector in the base city? Yang Hui asked. The inspector went to Wilderness Area City number 003 to hunt Lord-class monsters and sharpen his marksmanship, Zhao said. We'll take you to see him when he gets back. Good. The inspector's training aims to break him into war god level, or beyond, Yang Hui said, nodding. The chief once said, Inspector Liu is a promising talent. They all left the airport together, War God Yang Hui from headquarters and the 4 giants of the Limit Hall in Jiangnan Base City. The sun sank in the west. In a rundown courtyard, Yang Wu stood surrounded by dozens of iron-clad training bulls, each like a steel sculpture brought to life. White vapor puffed from their nostrils as they charged at him with furious bellows. Yang Wu's speed now brushed the threshold of an intermediate war general. His footwork was deceptively fluid, like the old bullfighters from before the Grand Nirvana. He toyed with the metal beasts while his blade flashed. Cold light traced each strike as his blood shadow battle blade sliced upward beneath the neck of each iron bull. With his strength, he could cut deeply into their torsos. Each attack was followed by a lightning-fast draw and evasive step. He moved like thunder through the herd, streaks of blood marking his path. One after another, the massive constructs toppled to the ground, the earth shaking with each crash. Ever since mastering the 9 Heavy Thunderblade, second level, Yang Wu still needed hundreds of days more training to genuinely advance. Today was the 5th day of a new training cycle, and by dusk he had already logged nearly 8,000 days of cultivation in total. I'm beat. I've got enough to push the 9 Heavy Thunderblade to 3rd level. Time to rest, he said, breathing heavily. After he'd neutralized the last of the iron bulls, Yang Wu walked to a nearby stream, rinsed his fighting clothes, and searched for a safe place to settle. Inside a dilapidated 6-story building, he sat cross-legged and closed his eyes. Images of himself swinging his blade flashed through his mind. 10 million repetitions, the blade's path vanishing into speed itself. In his meditation, 7,200 days passed in an instant. When Yang Wu finally opened his eyes, his body reacted on reflex. He lashed out with his blade, and every part of him surged, force driving up from his legs into his waist and hips, his spine straightening section by section as explosive power channeled into his right arm. From his waist through his back, 3 successive bursts of hidden strength rolled outward like ripples across water. 9 Heavy Thunderblade, 3rd level, 28% power, activated. 2 surging forces fused into his arm, and the blood shadow battle blade became a streak of cold light cutting through the air. Just as I thought, Yang Wu murmured, a small shake of his head. It took 7,200 days to condition this triple thunder technique. It had taken him nearly 20 years to forge the third level, an accomplishment for someone of Black Iron Rank 3 talent. If he were the original Yang Wu, such a feat would have been impossible. Chapter 30. Shocked Envoy. Even if his talent couldn't improve immediately, cultivation still counted. The more he cultivated, the stronger he became. So Yang Wu threw himself into killing monsters in the wilderness area. His body was stained with blood every day, as if he had crawled out of a sea of red. Amid that frenzied slaughter, his cultivation steadily rose. But the endless killing also sharpened his killing intent. What true martial artist or powerhouse hadn't been forged in slaughter, fighting their way through? Yang Wu was only beginning to walk that path. The next afternoon, Wu Tong called. Yang Wu answered the communication watch. Uncle Wu. Yang Wu, I hear you're already a god of war? Wu Tong's tone over the watch was serious. That's right, Yang Wu said. I knew you had talent. After all, the Limit Hall recruited you early. Wu Tong's voice held surprise. But I didn't expect your physical quality to have reached the basic God of War level already. You're abnormal. Is it the 9 Heavy Thunderblade? Wu Tong guessed. He'd learned Yang Wu had bought the secret manual for the 9 Heavy Thunderblade. Those who mastered it absorbed gene power far faster than with ordinary manuals, but many who had the money never made any real progress. Even with that manual, you shouldn't progress this fast. What's your punch strength now? How far have you advanced with the 9 Heavy Thunderblade? Wu Tong pressed. I tested my punch strength before I left, over 8,000 kilograms. As for the 9 Heavy Thunderblade, I'm at the 3rd level, Yang Wu replied. I can't seem to break into the 4th level, no matter how I train. Yang Wu didn't hide his cultivation speed. His growing power would draw attention, and revealing some advantages could be useful. Take Dragon Blood, for example. After using it, one's strength could roughly double, with no side effects and faster cultivation, essentially an ability boost. The downside was the price. A single dose of Dragon Blood, even at the Limit Hall's half price, costs 80 billion, and getting that half price required 4-star contribution points. He was far from having that kind of money or contributions. By the time he did, Dragon Blood might no longer be necessary. If the Limit Hall's senior officials discovered his talent, though, he might obtain Dragon Blood early while still weak. Abnormal. Kid, you're practically a monster, Wu Tong exclaimed, breathless. Yang Wu's talent was something Wu Tong had reported and recommended to headquarters. It would earn him many contribution points. I'm not surprised you reached God of War. The headquarters might not make a fuss. There are others faster than you. But the 3rd level of the 9 Heavy Thunderblade in less than 2 months. That's just insane. I've already reported you to headquarters, Wu Tong continued. They'll probably assess you soon. Prepare so you don't fail when the time comes. I understand. Yang Wu's eyes brightened. If he was called to the God of War training camp, that could open many doors for someone with his talent. Jiangnan Bay City, Limit Hall, large audiovisual room. Judging from these materials, Yang Wu really does have exceptional talent and is very diligent. War God Yang Hui, the special envoy from headquarters, studied the printed dossier. Zhuge Tao and others had compiled the basic facts on Yang Wu over the past few days. Most of the Firehammer squad rested, but he kept training in the wilderness area, added another. His basic God of War strength was earned by his own effort. Have you arranged for Wu Tong? Yang Hui asked. Wu Tong is online and can chat anytime, President Zhou Zhengyang said with a smile. Yang Hui nodded and activated the 3D projection device. A shimmering light formed a 3-dimensional image in the center of the room. The curator of Yangzhou City's Limit Hall, Wu Tong, appeared in crisp holographic detail, a faint halo betraying its projection. Wu Tong greets the president and special envoy, the projection said with a slight bow. I'm sure you know why I called, Yang Hui said. You're the chief at Yangzhou's Limit Hall, and you recommended Yang Wu. Tell me everything you know, his physical qualities, current strength, everything. Yes, Wu Tong had reviewed Yang Wu's situation the day before, and now smiled with pride. He's one of the most talented people Yangzhou has produced in the past decade. He only became a martial artist a little over a month ago, and already his physical quality has reached the God of War level. As far as I know, he cultivates the 9 heavy Thunderblade and has reached its 3rd level. He attained level 3 in about a month and a half of cultivation. 3rd level? Yang Hui, who had been outwardly calm, visibly stiffened. A wave of tension ran through him and those around the table. "This changes the decision from above," he said quietly. Yang Hui, Zhou Zhengyong, Zhu Tao, and the others exchanged looks, immediately grasping the gravity of the situation. "You're sure?" Yang Hui pressed. "I'm sure," Wu Tong said with conviction. "You've produced a genius in Yangzhou." "Your contribution is indispensable, Wu Tong," Yang Hui said, then asked, "Where is Yang Wu now? I want to see him in person." "He entered the wilderness area with his Firehammer squad on August 28th, Wu Tong replied with a smile. "Everyone else returned, but he's still in the wilderness area and hasn't come back to the base city." "Very well, you're dismissed," Yang Hui said, waving him off. "Yes, President, Special Envoy." Wu Tong bowed and the projection winked out. Chapter 31, Mainline, God of War Preparation Camp. Whoosh, whoosh, the shimmering light faded and the 3-dimensional projection vanished. "You nearly let it slip, you rascal. If Wu Tong had heard that, he'd never let us live it down," Iron Hand Zhou Zhengyong said, his expression hardening. "Never mind, that doesn't matter. Let's talk about Yang Wu." "Are Wu Tong's words and the footage real?" War God Yang Hui frowned. "Not fake," Zhou Zhengyong replied with a confident wave. "I know Wu Tong's character. Besides, if he lied, we'd discover it sooner or later. Why would he?" Yang Hui nodded slowly. "Still, I can't quite believe it. He only became a martial artist at 23 and then shot up so fast. In just a month, his physical level is on par with a beginner warlord, and he's already cultivated the 3rd stage of the 9 heavy Thunderblade. That's extremely rare. I need to notify headquarters." "Given the situation, a special training contract no longer suits him," Zhou said. "Yang Wu isn't just fit for the basic training camp. He's qualified to be recruited into the God of War training camp." The Dojo of Limits runs 2 main training programs, the Basic Training Camp and the God of War Training Camp. The Basic Camp selects promising martial artists from across the base cities. A special training contract is usually enough to secure entry and excellent instruction. The God of War Training Camp, the Elite Camp, is a tier above, the top program in the world. Its slots are extraordinarily scarce. "You mean the God of War Training Camp?" Yang Hui asked. "He meets the criteria, but more than half the year has passed. There are no openings left." "You know how precious those slots are," Zhao said. "Adding one more affects too many things." "But with his talent, it's worth me putting in a request to the higher-ups," Yang Hui said. Zhou nodded. "Understood." Normally, a base city like Jiangnan, with 2 or 3 exceptional talents a year, might secure a few basic camp placements. The God of War training camp is different. A base city of 200 million people might only get 1 slot every 5 years. Across the whole of China, only a handful of slots exist. Effectively, only 1 person per year is selected. These openings are usually decided long in advance. "Connect me to Inspector Wang," Yang Hui ordered. "Beep, beep." "Inspector." A low, hoarse voice echoed through the audiovisual room. Both Yang Hui and Zhou stood at attention. The title Inspector denotes an existence beyond War God, a planetary-level expert, whose status in the Dojo of Limits is second only to Founder Hong. "Oh, Yang Hui, what's the matter?" Inspector Wang's voice came through. "Inspector, I went to Jiangnan earlier to verify a young man named Yang Wu," Yang Hui reported. "His talent far surpasses what I expected. In just over a month, he's reached the 3rd stage. Given his talent, he's fully qualified for the God of War training camp." There was a pause on the line. Everyone in the room held their breath. China's military negotiated with headquarters and requested a slot for next year's God of War training camp, Inspector Wang said finally. "This year's slots are already filled. Logically, we shouldn't allocate another slot to China. Here's what we'll do. Give Yang Wu a chance to take the B-level assessment. If he passes, he can enter the God of War training camp." "Yes, Inspector," Yang Hui responded respectfully. He knew what the inspector meant. If Yang Wu failed, no one could complain. He'd simply join the basic training camp. The call ended, and only then did Yang Hui and Zhao exhale. An existence beyond war god and a war god may be only a title apart, but in power and authority, the gap is enormous. B-level assessment? Zhou frowned. Wouldn't an A-level usually be sufficient? There are too few slots, and China's population and martial arts heritage often produce talents that eclipse others, Yang Hui said. So when a country requests placements, they sometimes require higher standards. Prepare a fighter jet. I'll head to the wilderness area to meet Yang Wu and have him take the B-level test while I'm there. All right, for something this important, the jet will be ready immediately. Zhou forced a laugh, then frowned. But for the B-level test, even if Yang Wu is strong, the chance of passing. First, call Yang Wu and confirm his location, Yang Hui ordered. Do I need you to tell me such a small thing? Zhou chuckled. He tried to call Yang Wu. No answer. Strange, no response. No callback either. Yang Wu hadn't answered because he'd run into a small band of beast soldiers, a dozen or so, and had no intention of letting them escape. You couldn't handle such a small matter, Iron Hand. I'm a little disappointed, Yang Hui teased, then tapped his watch. His location's showing. Suburbs of City 0201. I'll go directly. He strode to the rooftop and climbed into the dark blue fighter jet parked there. You have triggered a main quest, God of War training camp. Quest description. Your talent has drawn the attention of the Dojo of Limits higher-ups. They have assigned you an additional God of War training camp slot, but you must pass an assessment. Assessment. Pass the B-level assessment to join the God of War training camp. Yang Wu's eyes lit up. He looked up into the distance. A dark blue streak cut across the sky and then slowed, hovering high above before beginning a controlled descent. Yesterday, Wu Tong had told him a special envoy from headquarters was coming. He hadn't expected them to arrive just after 8 this morning. The sleek, disc-shaped aircraft finally settled and stopped right beside him. Efficient, Yang Wu murmured with a smile. They called me yesterday, and they're already here this morning. Chapter 32, Verify Strength. He had longed for the elite training camp for a long time. The B-level test Yang Wu had already experienced wasn't actually difficult for him. Whoosh! The cabin door opened. Yang Wu peered out and saw 2 figures leap down in quick succession. Both wore black combat uniforms and walked forward in single file. Yang Wu didn't recognize the first man, but the one behind him was unmistakable. Zhuge Tao, one of the 4 pillars of the Dojo of Limits at Jiangnan Base City. Yang Wu, let me introduce you, Zhuge Tao said with a smile as he stood beside the middle-aged man. This is Mr. Yang, a special envoy from our Dojo of Limits global headquarters. Mr. Yang is a God of War-level powerhouse. The middle-aged man, Mr. Yang, nodded briefly and didn't say much. His eyes swept over Yang Wu. Yang Hui had, of course, already seen Yang Wu's photo. Yang Wu? Yang Hui asked. Mr. Yang, Yang Wu replied quickly. Mr. Yang specially flew down from our global headquarters because of your situation, Zhuge Tao said to Yang Wu. He has put in a lot of effort on your behalf. You should thank him properly. Yang Hui had the proud bearing common to gods of war, but he genuinely cared about promising juniors. If Yang Hui hadn't petitioned the inspector for Yang Wu to take the elite training camp entry, Yang Wu probably wouldn't have had a chance to sit the B-level test. No need to thank me. This opportunity is one Yang Wu earned by himself, Yang Hui said with a faint smile. You've met Mr. Yang. Are you planning to do Yang Wu's B-level test here in Jiangnan Base City? That's right. I want to conduct the B-level assessment as soon as possible, Zhuge Tao replied. Yang Hui considered briefly. If we bring him to headquarters for the test, it would be much simpler. Whether he passes or fails, he will end up at the global headquarters anyway. That makes sense, Zhuge Tao agreed. If Yang Wu passed his B-level test, he could enter the elite training camp. If he failed, he would be enrolled in the basic training camp. Either way, he'd go to the headquarters. With Yang Wu's talent, the basic training camp was already well within reach. He had mastered the 3rd level of the 9 heavy thunder blade and had precise control over his physical strength. Under normal circumstances, he might even have been selected for the elite training camp on an A-level assessment, but this year's elite slots were full. Yang Hui understood the difficulty of the B-level test, but judged Yang Wu's odds of passing were not low. By the way, Yang Wu, you might not be fully aware of our goals, Yang Hui said, looking at him. At the Dojo of Limit's global headquarters, there are two main training camps, the basic training camp and the elite training camp. You know about them, right? I've heard of them, Yang Wu nodded. He knew enough. The basic training camp recruited talented fighters from around the world for top training, while the elite training camp was the world's premier program, taking only the most monstrous prodigies. Every spot there was priceless. No fortune could easily buy a position. You now have the chance to enter the world's top training camp, Yang Hui continued. The condition is that you pass the B-level test. Any questions? No, Yang Wu said. His main reasons for wanting the trip were the main quest and the dragon blood. He probably wouldn't stay long even if he joined the elite camp. Are you willing to take the B-level test and try for the elite training camp? If you fail, you can still go to the basic training camp, Yang Hui asked. I'm willing, Yang Wu replied. Come, give me 2 punches, Yang Hui said. 1 without using the 9 heavy thunderblade, and then 1 with everything you've got. Yang Hui's request was a simple verification. With his eyesight and strength, he could quickly learn most of Yang Wu's situation. He could judge the 9 heavy thunderblade level from the instant acceleration and trajectory of a punch, and he could sense the fighter's overall power from the force behind it. Yang Wu adjusted his breathing, then his whole body coiled like a charging gorilla. His right shoulder and arm drove forward, his fist tracing a smooth arc. Bang! The dull, drum-like impact rang out, yet Yang Hui did not take a step back. He is indeed a war general, Yang Hui said with a smile. Again, Yang Wu broke into a grin and gathered himself again. This time he planned to use the 9 heavy thunderblades force method. He regretted silently that he hadn't been able to afford the secret manuals for the early levels of the 9 heavy thunderblade, but his training was enough. Ha! He let out a low shout, his breath cut forward like a dart. His right arm sliced through the air and accelerated continuously in the split second before impact, breaking the sound barrier and producing a terrifying sonic boom. The hammer-like, heavy punch slammed straight into Yang Hui's palm. Yang Hui's expression sharpened. Yang Wu stumbled back 3 steps, feet thudding on the ground, a stabbing pain flaring through his right arm from the countershock. He'd almost injured it. Good punch. That's definitely the 3rd level of the 9 heavy thunderblade. Yang Hui's voice boomed. He hadn't expected to take even a slight injury. Yang Wu clicked his tongue in surprise that the god of war had taken his full-strength blow with barely a scratch. Yang Hui's face flushed with interest and he laughed. Zhugetao, get the contracts. There was no need to test Yang Wu's speed or neural reactions. For this verification, Yang Hui had only to confirm the 9 heavy thunderblade level. That most clearly demonstrated Yang Wu's comprehension and strength. Zhugetao returned from the flying warplane carrying 4 contracts. Yang Wu read the documents carefully. These were special training contracts, different from what he'd signed before. The Dojo of Limits imposed surprisingly few restrictions on its martial artists. He had no objections and signed all 4. Of these 4 contracts, 1 is for you, Zhugetao explained, and the other 3 are for our internal processing. Yang Hui smiled and produced a black wooden box from inside his robe. Inside lay a jade seal, the special envoy's seal. Yang Hui's personal signature alone carried no weight. Only the special envoy's seal could validate the documents. Thud! He pressed the jade seal down. Chapter 33. Conduct B-level assessment. Take this. Yang Hui handed a contract to Yang Wu. On the 28th, you fly with me to the Limit Marshall Hall Global Headquarters. Remember, be at the airport to meet me before 2 p.m. on the 28th. Understood. Yang Wu nodded. By the way, the 28th isn't here yet. Are you going to stay in the wilderness area or return to base city? Yang Hui asked. If you're heading back, it's on the way. I won't go back, Yang Wu said, shaking his head. I plan to keep training in the wilderness area. That's good. Yang Hui smiled. Your progress owes a lot to your diligence. Yep, Yang Wu admitted without shame. Soon after, Zhugetao and Special Envoy Yang Hui boarded the disc-shaped fighter together. The jet rose swiftly, then compressed into a faint blue streak and vanished into the distance. The Blood Shadow battle blade flashed in practice. At one point, the antlered head of a mountain-sized deer, as big as a car, tore free and flew away. There are still more than 20 days, Yang Wu mused, looking out. Before entering the God of War training camp, I should be able to accumulate tens of thousands of cultivation days as a reserve. With that much time, he didn't plan to focus on gene power or movement techniques. He hadn't even purchased the 4th level of the 9 Heavy Thunderblade yet, so that skill would have to wait. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was September 28th. When Yang Wu arrived at Jiangnian Base City's headquarters that day, President Zhou Zhengyong immediately arranged a passenger plane to send Yang Wu and Yang Hui to the global headquarters. About an hour and 20 minutes later, they landed at the Limit Marshall Hall Global Headquarters Airport in Hongning Base City. From there, they took a special vehicle directly to the God of War training camp. The camp gate opened onto a monumental courtyard dominated by a black dragon sculpture, nearly 50 meters long, its 2 enormous eyes fixed on the arrivals. Embedded in the dragon's scales were small display screens. Each screen bore a name and a number. Nobo 1 Renardus Bridge, 53321. Number 2, Chuqiang, 54601. No 3, Ebenpup 96. From top to bottom, each scale listed a name. Yang Hui explained, "This is the student ranking. The elite training camp lists the top geniuses from around the world. Rank is based on combat power points. Higher rank means more resources. Different ranks enjoy different cultivation resources. If you fall into the bottom 3 of the rankings 3 times, you'll be eliminated. If you get in, you'll need to work hard to climb the ranks," he added. "I want talented juniors from China to do well." "I will," Yang Wu promised. After completing the necessary entry procedures, Yang Hui immediately arranged for Yang Wu to take his assessment. "Ready? Come with me to the Ninefold Tower," he said, leading Yang Wu to the towering structure. They rode up to the 9th floor and were taken to an inner room. The chamber was small and dim. Only 2 sofas sat beneath a soft light. On each sofa rested a faint blue helmet. Yang Hui indicated the helmets. "Wear this and your consciousness will enter a fully realistic virtual space, indistinguishable from the real world. Inside the virtual space, you'll enter the trial tower to take a B-level test." Yang Wu put on the helmet. A faint buzz ran through his head, and the world snapped into a boundless silver plane. 2 figures appeared on the ground, himself and Yang Hui. "This is the virtual space?" Yang Wu looked up. The sky here was a cosmic starfield. Thousands of stars bathed the silver land in a dreamlike glow. In the distance stood a single 7-story building, the Trial Tower. It was the only structure for as far as he could see. Whatever your status in the real world, God of War, Beyond War God, ordinary martial artist, or civilian, when your consciousness enters this space, you're given a standardized virtual body, Yang Hui explained. Physical qualities are equalized. Typical punch power of 10,000 kilograms, movement speed of 150 meters per second, and nerve response comparable to an excellent elementary beast general-level virtual body. An electronic voice then echoed across the plane. "Yang Wu, please select your combat uniform and weapons. After selecting, enter the trial tower within 1 minute to begin the B-level test." Options for uniforms and weapon styles materialized before him. Yang Wu quickly chose a suit that fit his frame, plus the Blood Shadow battle blade and a hexagonal shield. The selected items fell to the ground. He donned them at once. "Good luck," Yang Hui said with a smile. "This B-level test is a medium difficulty trial on the 1st floor of the trial tower. Even some official elite training camp members are still stuck on the 1st floor." Yang Wu took a deep breath and stepped into the trial tower's dark entrance. In an instant, the space shifted, and he found himself on a vast grassland. "Yang Wu." The disembodied electronic voice filled the open plain. "The B-level test objective: eliminate 100 Mangoks of elementary beast general level attacking you within 30 minutes. If you die, you fail. If you haven't killed 100 Mangoks after 30 minutes, you fail. This is your first entry into the trial tower. You have 5 minutes of preparation time." Yang Wu's expression hardened. He'd fought terrifying beast packs before, but those were mostly beast soldier level. Facing 100 elementary beast generals at once was a different matter. He let his mind run calculations. A standard virtual body's punch power is 10,000 kilograms. With the third level of the 9 heavy Thunderblade, my full power strike reaches 28,000 kilograms, he said to himself. That strength approached a high-level god of war. Facing 100 elementary beast generals would be difficult, but it was not beyond reach. Chapter 34. Talent Enhancement. In terms of raw strength, he already surpassed an elementary beast general level Mangox, and he also possessed micro-level footwork. The Trial Tower, like the virtual universe, focused on training core techniques, blade work, footwork, and force projection. When external aids were removed, everything became crystal clear. It was the easiest way to test someone's true fighting ability. The virtual universe had many more features, but its essence was the same. It's fine. My real body's condition is close to this virtual one, so I'm used to it. Yang Wu moved a few times, dodging and shifting, then adjusted the Blood Shadow Battle Blade to suit the body's feel. He used the 5 minutes of preparation to adapt. Time passed quickly. B-level assessment, begin. An electronic voice boomed across the grassland world. 100 meters ahead, a herd of massive, ox-like monsters materialized on the grass. Nearly 3 meters tall, these were Mangox, sturdy, herd-minded creatures with long fur, curved, sharp horns, and reddish eyes. 100 Mangox stood there, each horn faintly stained red, as if with dried blood. If one of those horns pierced him, even if his combat suit held, the impact would fracture bones and rupture internal organs. Each one was a threat. Roar! The herd stamped and charged. The ground trembled as the 100 Mangox covered the distance in an instant, moving at over 100 meters per second. He'd never faced so many elementary beast generals at once. Yang Wu stood his ground, a 6-sided shield in one hand and the Blood Shadow Battle Blade in the other, calm as the herd surged like a living tsunami. The Mangox smell filled the air, and the lead beast lunged. Having fought countless beast group battles, Yang Wu was experienced. With a deft sidestep and retreat, the blade flared. He unleashed the third stage of 9 heavy Thunderblade, 2.8 times force, slicing the front Mangox's neck. A spray of blood crowned his blade. 1. His gaze was cold, utterly composed. In a group fight, especially when every enemy was dangerous, panic was fatal. Mangox are huge, much bigger than ordinary iron-haired boars. They're like tanks, he thought. Their size meant only a few could reach him at once. He planned to use the bodies of the Mangox as obstacles and thread through the gaps. His footwork, micro-level, great accomplishment, made his dodges exquisitely precise inside the herd. His past experience with pack assaults paid off. Without it, 100 elementary beast generals would be overwhelming. His third stage 9 heavy Thunderblade let him fell a Mangox with a single stroke, and his refined force projection, applying power through his legs, pushed his speed to near high-level war general levels, far exceeding the Mangox. He moved with devastating ease. Puff, puff, puff. Ox heads flew and blood spurted. Time passed. He used the herd's momentum and massive bodies as cover and obstacles, striking where openings appeared and stepping out of harm's way with uncanny timing. After a tense bout of slashing, sidestepping, and bursts of speed, the last Mangox fell. Time taken, 15 minutes and 24 seconds. All 100 Mangox killed. B-level assessment passed. You have completed the main cultivation mission, quasi-martial artist assessment. Your talent and comprehension have slightly increased. Name, race human. Talent, Black Iron 2. Congratulations, Student Yang Wu, the godlike electronic voice echoed. Student Yang Wu, in 5 seconds you will automatically exit the virtual space. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When Yang Wu passed the B-level assessment, the inscription on the black stone pillar changed. Name, Yender, male, identity, elite training camp student trial tower level, 1.6. As a transmigrator, he understood the system well. Clearing the first layer moved you into the second layer and set your trial tower level to 2.0. Breaking into the third layer made it 3.0. Failures on the first layer might leave you at 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and so on. Having passed the first layer B level, his trial tower level was now 1.6. Soon, I'm still very close to bronze, Yang Wu said with a slight smile. Elite training camp. 9-fold tower, 9th floor. When Yang Hui and Yang Wu walked out of the trial room, chatting, the spacious 9th floor hall immediately came alive. The geniuses gathered there, from all over the world with different complexions, turned to look. A yellow-skinned youth asked repeatedly, Teacher, did he pass the assessment? He passed, Yang Huai replied with a smile. I'll take him to finish the procedures. You can begin your trials now. The hall buzzed. Some people approached Yang Wu, others whispered among themselves. Although only a little over 100 students were present, they represented the 5 great powers and various influential families of the HR Alliance. Deep waters flowed here. Now that Yang Wu had become a member of the elite training camp, as long as he wasn't eliminated, his future was bright. They all offered tempting conditions to recruit him, but Yang Wu paid them no mind. The forces on Earth were still too weak. His goal was the endless stars and to join the Virtual Universe Corporation through the talent war. Strive for a higher ranking on the training camp leaderboard, Yang Hui said solemnly. There are over 100 students here, each a top-tier genius. What you need to do is step on others and climb higher yourself. Yang Wu nodded. Even without Yang Hui's words, he would grind for points and race up the ranks. Only by drawing the attention of the higher-ups could he obtain dragon blood faster. All set? Yang Hui nodded. Your student code is 570100. The rest of the paperwork will be finished shortly. That same day, a new name appeared on the Black Dragon ranking of the world's top elite training camp, Yang Wu 56090. News of it spread like wildfire to the 5 major powers and the base cities around the globe. Special branches of national armies, the 9 core families, and dozens of influential houses in the HR Alliance all received the update. By evening, every one of those agencies had a full dossier on Yang Wu, his birth, his life in Mingyue community, everything up to his enrollment at the God of War training camp. In China, beneath Kyoto Base City, in a subterranean office on the 3rd basement level, a lean man in loose training clothes flipped through Yang Wu's file. He tapped the table with one finger as he scanned the pages. His talent looks good. Try to get our people inside the God of War training camp to recruit him, he said. He had a black mole on his chin and a cold look in his eyes. Yes, the subordinate replied. China wasn't alone. Governments, armies, special organizations, and wealthy families around the world were already making plans for the new entrant into the elite training camp. Back at Jiangnan Pavilion, in Yang Wu's study, he had just opened his laptop and was reading the student handbook. Trial room? Challenge room? Gravity room? These 3 training chambers were products salvaged from ancient civilization ruins. He had only heard of them before, but the handbook laid out the camp's structure in detail. The camp had abundant hardware, yes, but the most valuable assets were devices recovered from ancient civilization ruins. Most important of all was the points ranking. The ranking controlled access to the best resources. Take the ancient gravity room. Modern imitations existed on Earth, but they were far inferior to the original. And there was only one gravity room in the entire training camp. Who got to use it? The ranking decided. Higher rank, more access time. That was only one example. If you rank first every month and accumulate 9 first-place finishes, the handbook said, you can receive a share of dragon blood worth 80 billion, freely choose any 3 complete sets of secret manuals, and select either Hong or Thunder God as your teacher to become their direct disciple. If you rank first every month and accumulate 6 first-place finishes, you can receive a drop of Jade Marrow worth 30 billion, freely choose 1 complete set of secret manuals, and receive a chance for one-on-one guidance from Hong or Thunder God, personally. Points were the lifeblood of the camp. The Black Dragon ranking listed students by their points. Points were calculated from the 1st to the 28th of each month. On the 29th, the results were tallied and the final monthly ranking set. At the start of the next month, everyone's points reset to 0 and competition began again. Points equaled achievement points multiplied by combat power amplitude. Achievement points came from hunting monsters, an elementary beast. General level monster gave 1 point. A mid-level beast general gave 10 points. A high-level beast general gave 100 points. An elementary lord-level monster gave 1,000 points, and so on. Of course, even if someone in the camp was strong enough to hunt an elementary lord, few would be reckless enough to do it. Killing 2 lords would elevate your classification to war god level, forcing graduation and expulsion from the camp. Yang Wu did plan to hunt lord-level monsters eventually, but only after he had secured rare resources like dragon blood. Combat power amplitude was simpler. It equaled punch force exertion level multiplied by trial tower level. For example, Yang Wu's 9 Heavy Thunderblade 3rd stage punch force exertion level was 2.8 and his trial tower level was 1.6, so his amplitude would be 4.48. Even a small increase in amplitude could dramatically raise your points. The training camp seriously values punch force exertion level and trial tower level, Yang Wu muttered. A slightly higher amplitude gives a huge bonus. He flipped through the section on secret manuals. The 9 Heavy Thunderblade couldn't be advanced further without the later volumes. To get those, he'd need money and materials, and to get those, he'd have to hunt stronger beast generals. The 4th stage of 9 Heavy Thunderblade cost 250 million at half price. The 5th stage cost 1 billion at half price. Materials from an elementary beast general normally sold for 5 to 15 million. Mid-level beast general materials could fetch 10 million to over 100 million. High-level beast general materials ranged from 50 million to 600 to 700 million. To kill a valuable high-level beast general by himself, Yang Wu estimated his own base physical quality would have to reach that of a high-level battle general. He closed his eyes and resolved, 1,000 days of gene energy. Yang Wu entered the golden finger space and began cultivating. A flood of energy rose around him and spread through his limbs and bones. His blood qi simmered. Vital gene energy poured into him through every pore, seeping into the genetic material of his cells. That strange, life-rich power promoted improvement and evolution in his genes. His skin took on a more crystalline quality, his bones grew denser, muscle fibers thickened, and his explosive power increased. 1,000 days passed in an instant. Yang Wu absorbed a full 1,000 days' worth of gene energy and truly cultivated for 1,000 days. He had a complete, intimate understanding of every improvement in his body. Between talent and the 9 Heavy Thunderblade's guiding technique, triple primordial chaos, I estimate my punch force increased by 5,000 kilograms, he calculated, clenching his fist and feeling the power surge. At his current conversion rate, 1 day of cultivation into gene energy yielded about 5 times the cultivation benefit. The threshold for a high-level battle general is about 32,000 kilograms of punch force, he reminded himself. I'll need another 4,000 days. He resumed the arduous cultivation. He knew his base quality could not be raised too quickly. If it became too strong before he used dragon blood, the blood might lose some of its enhancing effect. After another 4,000 days of focused training, Yang Wu's basic punch force exceeded 33,000 kilograms, a terrifying level for a basic fighter and solidly within high-level battle general territory. With the 9 Heavy Thunderblades augmentation, his effective strength now qualified him as an elementary god of war. Chapter 36, Co-optation and Planning. In the evening, Shi Jiang and Zhao Ruo returned to Jiangnan Pavilion, and of course they'd already heard that Yang Wu had arrived. They invited him over. Yang Wu, sit, Zhao Ruo said enthusiastically. The three of them, Zhao Ruo, Yang Wu, and Shi Jiang, were seated in Zhao Ruo's parlor. I came to the camp in 55, and senior brother Shi Jiang came in 53, much earlier than you, Zhao Ruo said with a smile. And we're all from Jiangnan Base City. What a rare fate. Shi Jiang laughed easily. Yang Wu noticed how calm and deep Shi Jiang's voice was. He already knew Shi Jiang's current strength ranked among the top intermediate war gods. Even so, Shi Jiang looked at Yang Wu with obvious caution. He admitted Yang Wu's talent likely exceeded his own. I'm from Sucheng, Jiangnan Base City. Senior brother Shi Jiang is from the main city. What about you, Yang Wu? Zhao Ruo asked. Yangzhou City, Yang Wu replied. My maternal grandfather is in Yangzhou, Shi Jiang said with a surprised smile. They chatted for a while, then went to the welcome banquet. It's almost time. Zhao Ruo glanced at her comm-watch. Come on, Yang Wu, let's get to the banquet and meet many peerless geniuses from our nation. Shi Jiang led the way downstairs. Yang Wu, Shi Jiang, and Zhao Ruo left Jiangnan Pavilion together to join the gathering of the China faction in the elite training camp. At 8 p.m., on the second floor of restaurant number 1 in the camp, 21 students from China had gathered, ostensibly to welcome Yang Wu. In a foreign place, countrymen naturally feel close. The other senior brothers and sisters were very enthusiastic, drinking and chatting as they tried to learn more about the newcomer who had entered the God of War training camp by special means. Word had already spread through certain channels about many of Yang Wu's resources, and his talent shocked them. Comprehending the Triple Thunderblade in just over a month was unprecedented. Yang Wu understood their purpose. Just as at the Ninefold Tower, they were sizing him up and trying to recruit him. That night, he received 6 written invitations. Various factions expressed interest in taking him under their banner. He couldn't flatly refuse everyone, so he gave a unified answer. Senior brother, I've just joined the training camp and don't plan to join any organization. Let's discuss it after I become a god of war in a few years. Most of them agreed. The next 5 years were crucial for building strength. What they didn't know was that Yang Wu wouldn't remain in the camp for long. Dragon blood and herbal spirit both were treasures that could improve aptitude early, and he believed they would be easy to obtain. Once he got dragon blood, he could probably leave immediately. Dragon blood could generally double one's basic physical qualities, and might even enhance them further, making it easy for Yang Wu to become a god of war. After that, he planned to go to Australia in search of herbal spirit, another rare treasure that would raise physical qualities and would not conflict with dragon blood. Together, they would accelerate his growth and talent. He knew he had to get stronger fast. Slow steps bred more slow steps. Fast steps bred more fast steps. The next morning, Yang Wu met his assigned teacher in the courtyard of Jiangnan Pavilion. Yang Wu, this is Teacher Jiang. From now on, you'll study under her in the training camp, Shi Jiang introduced. My name is Jiang Fang, the woman said. For the next 5 years, I'll be your direct instructor. I currently have 5 students, you're the 6th. To be a teacher in the training camp, one had to be at least a god of war. Even Special Envoy Yang Hui served as an instructor. Jiang Fang looked very young and striking. Her figure would turn heads, ample chest, a pert behind, and a slender waist. But the first thing Yang Wu registered was her presence. She simply stood there, and she felt like a blade. He sensed she had comprehended a concept. In Yang Wu's estimation, achieving that level of insight would normally take at least 100,000 days of cultivation. The realization only strengthened his determination to improve his aptitude. Teacher Jiang. Yang Wu bowed slightly. Jiang Fang's first impression of him was favorable. I heard you use a blade. Bring your blade and spar with me. Yes, Yang Wu slung his blood shadow battle blade on his back and followed her out. He hadn't expected a female teacher in the elite training camp, but whether she was male or female mattered little to him. When he needed to consume cultivation to gain insight, no one could help him. He had to rely on himself. I heard you only became a martial artist 2 months ago, yet you passed the B-level assessment yesterday afternoon? Zhang Fang said with a smile as they walked. Yang Wu had not yet officially joined the God of War training camp, but he had passed the B-level assessment outright. There were still dozens of students who hadn't passed the first level, so he was clearly no ordinary novice. Yes, he replied. You're talented, Zhang Fang said approvingly. She drew 2 curved blades from her waist. Come on, Yang Wu, use your blade technique on me. I won't use more power or speed than you do. Yes, teacher. Yang Wu drew his blood shadow battle blade. Strike, Zhang Fang commanded. Yang Wu charged like lightning and executed a clean, perfect diagonal slash. Zhang Fang kept her right-hand blade nearly motionless and only moved her left hand. Strange as it looked, her left strike seemed to start later, yet met his blade first. There was a sharp clang. When her left blade grazed Yang Wu's weapon, he felt an odd, unreal resistance, as if his strength couldn't be fully expressed. Before he could even pull back, a streak of blade light had grazed his neck and withdrawn. He wasn't surprised that she could block him. If she couldn't, she had no business being an instructor. But he also understood something else. If her purpose had been a true test of his technique, there'd have been no need to block and then nearly cut him. That gesture did little to assess his level. Instead, it was a display, an assertion of strength. Everyone in the elite training camp was a peerless genius with pride, and in some cases, a disdain for discipline. A show of force was sometimes necessary to establish authority and keep the unruly in check. Chapter 37, Practice the quadruple thunder blade. You lost. Again? Yes. Yang Wu attacked once more, this time unleashing the triple thunder blade. The blades rang as they met. Zhang Fang gave a satisfied nod. Triple thunder blade? Your force control is quite high. Tsk, tsk. Just entering the training camp and your force output is already this strong. No wonder you were recruited individually, she said. When I was your age, my blade technique wasn't nearly as good. This level of force control required extremely precise strength regulation. It showed Yang Wu's foundation in managing power was already solid. Jiang Feng had looked over his files and added, your records suggest your martial comprehension might even outstrip your gene power talent. So follow my lead and study hard. Don't waste that comprehension, she advised. I understand. Yang Wu nodded. For true geniuses, comprehension often mattered more than raw talent. In the Virtual Universe Corporation's talent war, for example, all competitors shared the same physical baseline in the simulation. What separated them was how quickly they could grasp techniques. The universe's top fighters therefore prized comprehension above all. Later, Zhang Fang took Yang Wu back to the gravity room and explained its operations. To Yang Wu, the gravity room meant little. He could spend a day outside killing monsters, and the cultivation gain from converting that experience would easily outstrip what the gravity room offered. Before they parted, she also explained the points system. Yang Wu, you're new here. Your current points are 0. You're ranked last, she said. As a new recruit, your schedule is fixed for the first 28 days of the month. On odd-numbered days, you'll go out with the other students into the wilderness area to hunt monsters and earn combat points. On even-numbered days, you'll stay in the training camp to study and cultivate. I'll be your instructor then. Yes, teacher. Yang Wu agreed. That night, Yang Wu sat in his study checking his messages. 2 unread emails waited. The first read in part, Student Yang Wu, congratulations on officially joining the elite training camp. This month, your ranking is 181st. You have 1 hour in the ancient civilization gravity room and 1 hour in the trial room. As a new student this month, you are granted a trial tower assessment privilege. The time used by the trial tower assessment will not be counted against your trial room usage. Use resources wisely, improve your strength, and strive for a higher ranking. Note, if you finish in the bottom 3 on 3 occasions cumulatively, you will be expelled. See attachment for detailed resource allocation. Yang Wu skimmed the attachment and then opened the second email. He breathed a little more easily. October counted as his first month in the training camp, so he had the trial tower assessment privilege. The assessment time didn't count against the trial room hour, meaning he could potentially add the tower run to his trial time and get far more practice. The trial tower assessment time varies by person, he thought. If I use 40 minutes in the tower plus 1 hour in the trial room, that's 100 minutes to push my level. If I have the ability, I can use all of that to leap forward and raise my ranking. There's only one new student in October, me, so I can schedule the assessment any day between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. He mulled over how to get dragon blood, an invaluable resource. There are only 2 direct ways, he muttered. 1. Reach power output level 6 in punching force. That grants a portion of dragon blood worth 80 billion, plus a full set of SS-grade battlesuit and weapons. Reaching level 6 force output meant comprehending the 8 heavy thunder blade. Even if Yang Wu could afford the first 8 levels, the cultivation required to fully understand them would be enormous. The other way, Trial Tower level 5. That gives the title Inspector of the Dojo of Limits and a portion of dragon blood worth 80 billion, SS-grade suits and weapons, any 3 complete sets of secret manuals, and a set of Black God relics from the ancient civilization ruins. The trial tower was brutally difficult. Even Hong, the world's strongest, had only reached the 6th floor. Getting to the 5th floor was a feat most could only dream of. Yang Wu realized that with limited short-term cultivation, he couldn't expect to clear the tower's 4th floor yet. Looks like I'll be putting in the work this month, he said to himself. From what I know about the Dojo of Limits, displaying exceptional talent can net you contracts like the one Luo Feng once signed. With only him as the October recruit, he could pick the assessment date freely. October 1st arrived. the day Yang Wu officially began earning combat points in the training camp. He and 91 other students set out for City 1001, a wilderness area city about 300 kilometers from the camp. The number of students assigned was set by Hong, the founder of Hongning Base City. All students were required to hunt in City 1001, which was monitored by a dedicated satellite. The training camp's rules were strict. 1. Private trading of monsters, transferring monster materials to other students, or otherwise helping another student increase combat points, once discovered, meant immediate expulsion. 2. Infighting or killing another student, once discovered, resulted in execution. Yang Wu felt at home in the wilderness city. The monsters here were very different from those in the Chinese heartland, and where other students worried about being overwhelmed by hordes, Yang Wu moved like a fish in water. He had trained against swarms before and hunted efficiently, racking up combat points faster than most. A high-level beast general could fetch hundreds of millions in currency. In short order, Yang Wu felled 2 such behemoths, a mountain-sized Tuoshan deer among them, and sold the spoils. With the proceeds, he bought the 4th level of the 9 heavy Thunderblade at half price. With my Black Iron Level 2 aptitude, the cultivation needed to comprehend the 4th level will be far less than the 14,000 days originally estimated, he reasoned. Let's try with 4,000 days first. He immediately committed 4,000 days' worth of Black Iron Level cultivation to practicing the 4th level of the 9 heavy Thunderblade. Scenes flashed by like an accelerated reel. He swung the blade millions of times, pushing speed and repetition to the extreme. For a full 4,000 days, he trained without pause, insights compounding. Finally, Yang Wu tightened his grip on the hilt, narrowed his eyes, and struck. The form he executed contained 10 moves in total. Chapter 38, 1 month. When I was Black Iron Level 3, it took me 400 days of cultivation to master a single move of Triple Thunderblade, Yang Wu muttered. Now it feels like my comprehension has doubled since then. Again, thousands of days flashed through his mind as he kept practicing the 4th level of the 9 heavy Thunderblade. After what felt like nearly 10 years of relentless training, Yang Wu opened his eyes. Instinctively, he swung his Blood Shadow Battle Blade. He pushed his body to the limit. Force surged from his legs up through his waist and hips. Crack, crack. The vertebrae in his spine stiffened and aligned, channeling power into his right arm. At the same moment, hidden energies along his back erupted in 4 consecutive ripples. The 4th level of the 9 heavy Thunderblade, activated at 35% power, exploded outward. 4 surges of force poured into his arm, and the Blood Shadow blade flashed cold light as it streaked through the air. It's as I thought, he said, shaking his head. It took 7,200 days of cultivation to master this level of the Thunderblade. He compared himself bitterly to Luo Feng, who had comprehended the same technique in only a few months. The gap in innate talent was glaring. Still, the pattern comforted him. Higher talent dramatically reduced required cultivation time. If that held true into the future, his shortcomings now might not doom him forever. Blade techniques and sword techniques are divided into 4 realms: basic, proficient, perfect, and artistic conception, Zhang Fang had drilled into him. You must build a solid foundation. 2 hours of blade practice every day in the simulated gravity room, 2 more hours in the blade training chamber, and practice again whenever you can. Use your head, find flow and continuity in every movement. So Yang Wu practiced, in the gravity room, in the blade chamber, in the underground secret room of Jiangnan Pavilion. Every even-numbered day he stayed inside training, while on odd-numbered days he went hunting monsters to accumulate more cultivation. The regimen paid off for some aspects faster than others. His progress is astonishing. He's already comprehended the 4th level of the Thunderblade, some cadets whispered. Zhang Fang was surprised and demanded more. She piled on new training methods, but she had one nagging doubt. With Yang Wu's speed of comprehension, his blade technique realm should have advanced beyond basic, perhaps even to the top among the cadets. Yet his blade realm stubbornly stayed at basic. What she didn't know was that Yang Wu hadn't even tried to formally comprehend the blade technique realm. He had no need to right now. Monsters didn't understand realms. Humans did. but he rarely fought humans. With his current resources, the cost of formally pushing his realm higher was too steep. According to his calculations, micro-level body art had taken him 7,200 days to comprehend, and even with his improved understanding, pushing blade techniques to proficient would likely take another 3,600 days. Good steel should be saved for the blade itself. The realm was not yet necessary, so he deferred it. The training camp was filled with geniuses, cadets whose blade techniques, body art, and power exertion far exceeded Yang Wu's present level. Some already displayed fourfold power exertion and even reached artistic conception in blade work or body art. Yang Wu was near the bottom in terms of formal blade realm, yet his power exertion comprehension moved at terrifying speed. But his blade realm progress is maddeningly slow, some instructors said. He's too dull in that aspect. Others countered, his body exertion comprehension is frighteningly fast. He's already grasped the 5th level of the Thunder Blade. If he kept this up, in months he could break into the camp's top 10. Zhang Fang was increasingly satisfied with him as a disciple. October 28th, in Yang Wu's study at Jiangnan Pavilion, the truth of his month's work settled in. The 5th level of the Thunderblade had cost him 14,400 days of cultivation. Over the past month, he had spent odd days hunting and accumulated many kills, and he bought the 6th level of the 9 Heavy Thunderblade at half price. But while the 5th level offered a 4.2x power exertion bonus, the 6th only increased that to 4.8x, and it would demand 28,800 days. The improvement wasn't cost-effective. He'd already consumed 26,600 days of his cultivation since arriving here, 5,000 plus 7,200 plus 14,400. And though that was a lot, his reserves still exceeded 28,800 thanks to what he had brought with him and the extra days he'd farmed. Yet the math was clear. He wouldn't waste those days on a marginal upgrade. First, he would go to the trial tower and test himself. See whether it made more sense to invest in body art or blade realm next, or to commit to the 6th level of the Thunderblade. With the 5th level granting a 4.2x power advantage and his trial tower rank, after passing a B-level assessment, set automatically at 1.6, his current battle amplification stood at 6.72, 4.2, 1.6. On the Black Dragon ranking, this pushed him up dramatically. His score, battle amplification times achievement points, had rocketed to 111th place. He took half a day to rest and prepare for the tower climb. Around noon, he left Jiangnan Pavilion in casual clothes. Zhao Ruo was returning from outside and ran into him. "Yang Wu, going to lunch?" she asked. "I already ate," he answered with a smile. "I just checked the Black Dragon ranking. Your rank's actually 111th. Young junior brother, amazing," Zhao Ruo teased. "I, your senior sister, only managed to get into the top 100. Yang Wu grinned. "Top 100? She raised an eyebrow. "I'll talk to you later. Got work to do." Yang Wu said no more. Nobody in the training camp knew he was heading to the trial tower for a rank assessment at noon on the 28th. Most assumed that since he'd leapt to 111th in his first month, he must have already taken another tower test. As he walked, many cadets greeted him. The training camp respected strength, and even though the ranking would close at midnight on the 28th, his current standing already spoke for his power. Chapter 39, Ranking Changes. He'd only been here a month, and already he was this formidable. What would he become in the future? That thought made many of the students from South America, North America, Europe, Africa, and elsewhere eager to get on Yang Wu's good side. On the 9th floor of the ninefold tower, a few African students had just finished their trial tower and gravity room training and were sparring. "Hey, Yang Wu, why are you here at noon?" One of them called out in Mandarin. "Something important," Yang Wu replied with a smile and walked toward the trial room. The trial room scanned him and confirmed his identity. With a soft click, the door unlocked. Yang Wu pushed it open and stepped inside. "How can he enter the trial room after noon?" one of the Africans muttered in his native dialect. "It's impossible to get into the trial room now." "This April is his first month," another explained. "New students are allowed to take the trial tower assessment during their first month." "You mean he still hasn't been assessed?" "It's already the 28th. If he'd been assessed, he couldn't be in the trial room from 12 to 1. My God, his trial tower level hasn't been assessed, and his Black Dragon rankings already shot up to 111. After the assessment, how high will he go? Could he break the top 100? A new student cracking the top 100 in his first month. Instead of arguing, the 6 of them hurried down the stairs and raced for the Black Dragon statue at the elite training camp's main entrance. In the elite training camp, a new student reaching the top 100 within the first month was almost unheard of. If it happened, it would be a miracle worth watching. Inside the trial room, Yang Wu turned on the lights and lay back on the sofa. He picked up the dark blue helmet beside him, a consciousness-sensing device that refracted a dazzling sapphire glow. "The farther, the better," he whispered. He was still only in the early stages of devouring the heavens, and on Earth things had been relatively peaceful. He hadn't made many enemies. There was no immediate mortal danger, so now was the time to make a show of strength. If he could catch the attention of the high-ranking officials at the Dojo of Limits, it would do him favors, perhaps even help him obtain Dragon Blood next month. Dragon Blood would at least double his strength and boost his talent. Then, on Mist Island, he'd be able to protect himself. If luck was on his side, killing a few thousand-year herbal spirits could quickly raise his physique to peak God of War level. The scene shifted to the boundless silver plain under an endless cosmic sky. A single 7-story tower rose from the ground, the Trial Tower. Yang Wu examined the entrance. A panel on the left pillar displayed his details. Name: Yang Wu. Gender: male. Elite Training Camp Official Student Trial Tower Level 1.6. Each trial tower level has 3 stages, A, B, and C. Yang Wu had cleared the B stage of level 1, so his level read 1.6. Pass the C stage, and he'd leap into the second layer at level 2.0. With the virtual space's reminder, he quickly changed into his combat suit, slung on his weapon and shield, and stepped into the trial. He materialized on a vast grassland. "Yang Wu," an electronic voice intoned across the plain, "you have completed the first level, Stage B trial. Next, Stage C. The objective is to kill 200 Mangoks within 50 minutes. Of these 200, 190 are Elementary Beast General level, and 10 are Intermediate Beast General. Good luck." Yang Wu's smile sharpened. After nearly a month in the elite training camp, he knew exactly what to expect at each trial stage. An Intermediate Beast General Mangoks could reach up to 32,000 kilograms of force, but for a first-layer challenge, their strength was set at the low end, around 16,000 kilograms of punching power. After he applied the 5th level of the 9 Heavy Thunderblade in the virtual space, his explosive force hit about 42,000 kilograms. The gap was obvious. The Mangoks' only advantage was their terrifying number, 200. Yang Wu didn't wait for them to close in. The instant the trial began, he charged the herd. The ground trembled as the herd, led by 10 Intermediate Beast General Mangoks, rushed at him like a roaring tide. But their massive bodies meant only 3 or 4 could attack him at once, and 3 or 4 were easy targets for him. Between superior physical quality and far better technique, the Mangoks couldn't even touch him. Just as Yang Wu expected, he felt no pressure. The trial finished in a blink. "Congratulations, Yang Wu. You have completed the first level trial. Next, second layer, Stage A," the voice announced. "Your objective is to kill 50 Elementary Beast General Ironclad Scorpions within 10 minutes. Good luck." As Yang Wu entered the next stage, word of his trial spread through the camp. The 6 African students who had seen him head into the trial started telling others. Yang Wu, the Chinese student who had only been at the elite training camp a month and was already ranked 111th, was now finally taking his trial tower assessment. Without even being assessed, he was already 111th. What would happen after the test? Many students who had been eating hurriedly finished their meals and streamed toward the giant black dragon statue at the entrance. The ranking display on the statue updated frequently, and everyone wanted to see how high this rising talent would climb. Reaching 111 or 112 had been impressive. Breaking into the top 100 would be spectacular. "It's changed. Yang Wu's ranking changed," someone with sharp eyes cried out. "What did it change to?" "From 111 to 98. Everyone stared. Yang Wu, who had just been 111th, had suddenly leaped into the top 100, now ranked 98th. The crowd fell silent, faces frozen in astonishment and a kind of incredulous horror. Chapter 40. Perfect Level of Physical Skills. Hiss. The whole training camp went quiet for a beat, then a collective cold intake of breath swept through like a gust of wind. Faces froze. Yang Wu actually broke into the top 100. How is that possible? Shock spread at the terrifying new ranking. A young recruit nearby, who had been specially selected and wasn't lacking in talent, could only shake his head in disbelief. His gap with Yang Wu was enormous. He's been in the trial tower less than 10 minutes, one of the Chinese students who had been watching analyzed. He cleared one test so fast, the next stage shouldn't slow him down either. The ranking list will update again soon. Others quickly caught on. Everyone stayed glued to the Black Dragon sculpture, waiting for a second update. The first update had put Yang Wu at 98th, and they suspected the next one would be even more astonishing. Many felt they might be watching a miracle, a legend being born. Word spread fast across the camp. Yang Wu, a new recruit from China, had broken into the top 100 in his very first month. I heard Yang Wu reached 98th around noon today? Yeah. Yang Wu's bringing honor to our country, huh? Students entering the elite training camp instinctively looked up at the ranking carved on the Black Dragon sculpture. A newcomer cracking the top 100 in their first month has only happened 5 times in our camp's history. All 5 were peerless prodigies. The earliest was 20 years ago. Of those 5, 4 are already advanced war gods. 1 even rose to beyond war god. Clusters of students sat by the sculpture, talking animatedly. They'd been grinding for nearly a month. Many had found their trial tower level hard to raise and couldn't get out to hunt monsters for battle points today. They'd done everything they could and were now waiting for the results. About 3 kilometers away, in a residential building outside the camp, another kind of activity was underway. Hurry, get all the equipment set up. Move faster. The boss is paying good money. Treat this like a vacation, but do it right. The boss gave us a few specific tasks. We have to execute them perfectly, understood? A burly man with short blonde hair barked orders, and 5 other operatives hustled the gear into place. Done, Captain. A huge screen on the wall displayed the same ranking list from the Black Dragon sculpture. Good, the captain said. Once the list finalizes at midnight, we transmit it immediately. And the boss wants special attention on our China recruit, Yang Wu. Understood. Across Hongning Base City, especially around the elite training camp, many intelligence teams were monitoring the Black Dragon rankings. It wasn't just the students watching today. Organizations worldwide were tracking the list. They maintained dossiers on every student who appeared. Yang Wu, however, was a mystery. No one knew when or where such a talent had come from. Breaking into the top 100 in his first month marked him as a rare genius. Inside the trial tower's second layer was a boundless desert. Yang Wu knew each layer of the tower was divided into A, B, and C stages. For example, completing the second layer's A stage gave a score of 2.3, B was 2.6, and C was 3.0. He hadn't expected the jump from the B stage's herd of 100 Mangoks to the C stage's 200 Mangoks to be so brutal. 10 of those Mangoks were mid-level beast generals. A single mid-level beast general wasn't deadly, but these leaders commanded the other oxen and coordinated repeated, organized assaults, far more dangerous than the aimless encirclement he'd faced in B stage. If his strength exertion, power, and speed hadn't been significantly higher than before, he might have been overwhelmed on the first charge. Micro-level body art lets you dodge in tiny increments to increase evasion efficiency, but micro-level has its limits, Yang Wu thought. Micro-level body art is risky because dodging in such small measures means a single mistake often leads straight to being hit, usually fatal or severely injuring. If my exertion level hadn't been so high, Yang Wu admitted inwardly, I could have failed the second layer's C stage. He knew the second layer represented a far greater difficulty jump than the incremental ABC differences. Improving his strength exertion level further was becoming inefficient, so his only practical option was to refine his body movement to the perfect level. The 9 heavy thunder blade technique had 9 levels total, and body movement progressed in 3 tiers. Every 3 blade levels unlocked 1 full level of body movement. Good thing I bought the 6th level of 9 Heavy Thunder Blade earlier, Yang Wu smiled to himself. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have a complete 2nd level of body movement. He estimated that fully comprehending perfect level body movement would take about 28,800 days. Then he began the cultivation. Time folded into a montage. Scene after scene raced by like fast forward, and in an instant, 1,600 days had passed. Light as a swallow, scaling walls, fluid motions, Yang Wu drilled body movement non-stop. Insights poured into him, each imprinting deeper than the last. After that first 1,600-day stretch, he had mastered 1 form of perfect level body movement. So 1 form takes 1,600 days. At that rate, the whole thing will be 28,800 days, he calculated. Keep going. Days blurred onward. Another 27,200 days slipped by in what felt like a blink. 18 distinct forms of body movement had been woven together. An extreme, integrated sensation spread through him. He opened his eyes and moved almost reflexively, every ounce of his strength fused with uncanny subtlety. At the micro level, you control power and motion in minuscule increments to dodge precisely with minimal cost. At the perfect level, you go further. You command the environment itself, using anything nearby, people, stones, walls, buildings, as part of your movement and evasion. To perfectly exploit the surroundings and dodge with absolute precision, that is perfect level body movement. If micro-level still required conscious calculation, perfect level body movement needed no thought at all, each action executed flawlessly. This was the gulf between micro-level body art and perfect level body movement.